City. Frankly, I only played Kansas City once in my life, and that was a one-nighter with Andy Kirk. We were on our way through the South, and we left for St. Louis and played Kansas City and Tulsa and Oklahoma City and Dallas and so forth, and went all down through the South. But when I joined Andy, that was the first big band that I was really happy with, because all the cats in the band were very good musicians. And like they had Mary Lou Williams, I learned a lot from her for her arranging and playing the piano. She showed me a lot of changes about the piano, being that I knew the keyboard. And I was learning how to write and arrange, so she was quite a card. And they had Floyd Smith, the guitarist, and Harold Baker, the trumpet player. Yeah, you remember Harold Baker, the trumpet player?
Sure do.
He played beautiful. I used to listen to him all the time and wonder why he drank Cokes all night. I found out one night they were mixed with bourbon and Coke. And we had a good time, though. I enjoyed playing with Harold. And they had a lot of good musicians in the band.
Was it while you were with Kirk that you met Charlie Parker?
No, I didn't meet Charlie Parker until I was playing with Charlie Barnett. We were working over at the Adams Theater in Newark. And we just came off the show, doing a show about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, something like that. And we walked in the dressing room, and I turned on the radio, and in walked Bird. Man, everybody stopped doing what they were doing and just stood still for a minute, because nobody could believe that there was anybody playing a horn sounding like that, man. I mean, they like it, all the band, the whole band. We had Al Kaye and Chubby Jackson and Oscar Pettiford and all the guys that was in the band. And nobody had heard Bird, and he just came walking in through the radio with his horn, and we all sit there and listen until he got through. He was playing Cherokee with Jay McShann. And we all sit there and listen until he got through. Then we said, well, who in the hell is that? We never heard anybody play like that. So finally they came on and said, this is Jay McShann's band coming up from the Savoy Ballroom. Well, immediately, we would have been in the theater all day from 10 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock that night. So after we got off, everybody except Charlie Barnett headed for the Savoy Ballroom to see what was happening up there. And I knew Jay McShann from Oklahoma, because he was from Muskogee, Oklahoma. So when I got there, I went up to Jay and I said, hey, man, play that saxophone player. You played on the broadcast today. So he said, oh, you mean Bird? I said, yeah. I said, let him do his thing. Let him go on through. Let him just hear what he sounds like. I said, the whole band is here to hear this. To say, we don't believe what we heard today. So he said, well, you better believe it, because he's sure playing it. So he put Bird on, and Bird played Cherokee, and everybody stood with their mouth wide open. I said, yeah, what is this? And this guy was really tremendous. We never heard any music played like that, and not an instrumentalist. And we had heard all Johnny Hodges and Barnett and all the guys. But Bird was something else, man. He opened a whole lot of ears that day, anyway.
Right. This is Jay McShann's famous appearance at the Savoy with Charlie Parker being one of the star soloists in the band. And it's very interesting.
I think he was the only soloist in the band. Yeah, it was beautiful. And we went up there every night after we found out, after we heard Bud. We'd go up there every night to listen to him. And man, he was amazing.
Very, I think, important gig. He was impressing musicians from
all playing. Right.
People who were playing and the new young pop stars who were coming up.
Neil Hefti and Chubby Jackson, all the guys used to come, would come up there, in Savoy, well, things are different now, but then that was the hot spot of town where they're bringing all the out-of-town bands. And we wanted to hear Bird because, man, we heard no music like that coming out from anybody, in New York or California or anywhere else, man. Bird was something to be believed, because we never heard nothing like that. And the way he made his phrases and the chord changes that he was using, that we were playing the chords that he was using, but we weren't inverting the way he was. I mean, like, he had his own complete story behind it, which was beautiful. I mean, when you catch a guy with something that's really original. And the way he was running through it, it sounded like to him it was just one of those everyday affairs.
Were you, as a member of a swing band, commercial swing band, almost like Charlie Barnett playing the jazz of the late 30s, were you looking, too, for something different, for a new place to go musically?
Oh, yeah, sure, because, what it means to play Cherokee, the way Charlie Barnett played every day for 6 and 7 times a day. I mean, up, don't bump, ya, down. I mean, how much can you hear that? You know what I mean? So when we heard Bird playing Cherokee, playing in some other style, it was like, oh boy, well, I didn't know this could be played that way, even. But I think all the trumpet players, the young trumpet like Fats Navarro and Dizzy, now we were all trying to find some other direction to take. and which was pretty hard because everybody wanted you to play either like Louis Armstrong or Roy Eldridge or Harry James, you know. So you had to stick kind of close to those lines, especially with the swing bands, because they wanted you to play something that sounds something familiar to like the record, you know. And Charlie Barnett and I worked up a thing called Redskin Rumba on the end of Cherokee. Well, we got away from Cherokee completely. Just played, you know. We just played on the same changes, but played something different, which was a little different from playing Cherokee over and over. But we had to do it every day anyway. Mm-hmm.
So Charlie Parker had immediate effect on your playing, although you were a trumpeter and he was a saxophonist.
Yeah, well, I didn't know whether I could play as fast as he was playing on saxophone on trumpet, but I thought I would give it a try because what he was doing with the saxophone was really something else, you know. And I had never heard any trumpet player that. Dizzy wasn't even playing like that. Nobody was playing that fast as Bert was playing on the saxophone, you know. And plus that, he was making sense with what he was doing. He wasn't just running a few notes. He was really playing ideas and had connecting thoughts and so forth. Just like the guy said, there was Arthur Fiedler, I think he said, if Bird played more in 8 bars, then it would take all the composers and arrangers in 2 years to write out that 8 bars that Bird thought of just like a hot clash. In which I believe so too, because Bird really did have a real mathematical genius of a mind. This guy could remember back to 1918, and this was in 1941 and 42. You know, he could go back and play things like like the old bands played that you hear on those His Master's Voice records and things like they played old time, and Bird could play them because he remembered. He could reach back in his mind and get anything he wanted, which was very beautiful because there's very few musicians could do that.
Right, an important part of bop that's often neglected was the fine technique of many of the musicians.
Yeah,
most prominent Charlie Parker's.
Yeah, well, most of the musicians that were famous at the time, I always thought that all the younger musicians was just running a bunch of notes. You know, they say, them guys just running up and down the horn. That's what they used to say. In fact, I remember Johnny Hodges. I asked him once. I said, Johnny, what do you think of Charlie Parker? And he says, the guy plays too many notes. They don't make sense. You know, so. But years later, I asked him the same question over again. I said, what do you think of Charlie Parker? So he says, oh, man, that cat is too much. He says, I don't believe what I hear. I said, you remember me asking you this once before? And he said, yeah, but said I hadn't really listened to him then. I said, but he finally found out that Bird was something else, you know. And I thought that Johnny Hodges was one of the finest alto players in the business. That's why I asked him. I said, what do you think of Charlie Parker? You know? And he gave me an all-about story, but I think that, like he said, he hadn't really listened to it, and he just thought there was some young cat with a horn playing a lot of notes, and being Johnny was so beautiful in what he was playing, as like Passion Flower and all these things were very slow and very beautiful, and he had a beautiful tone that go with it. So he figured that he was pretty cool, you know. So I took his interpretation of what he was saying about Bird, but I didn't go with it. I said, this guy ain't heard Bird yet. You know, this guy, and Johnny is as well as he played. I said, this guy, he evidently hasn't heard Bird play to say, make a statement like this, you know, bless his soul. But finally he came around and he said that Charlie was something else. You know? Right.
Charlie Parker certainly deserves more than the first
listening,
and a fifth.
Yeah, well, most people at that time like this, I said, they thought that Dizzy was crazy and Bird was just playing a bunch of notes, and it wasn't the case at all. Even like when we were at Minton's, man, we used to go up there. This was even before the records. We used to go up and jam every night, and every night we'd find maybe a flatted fifth, or we'd use a raised ninth, and it would come out pretty good, and everybody would use it. Not only Dizzy and Bird were the ones, everybody did. Bunk was there playing, Prez was there playing, Roy Eldridge was there playing. Although Roy didn't use too many off notes because he was really playing Roy from what he knew, you know, Roy Eldridge. But Fats Navarro and I and Joe Guy and all these guys used to go up there and play, and we learned a few things from just hanging out together.
This was the first place you played with Charlie Parker up in Minton's.
Up in Minton's, yeah, up in Minton's with Dizzy. And when the first time I came to New York, I was with Andy Kirk, and Dizzy came down to Lowell State Theater to get me and took me up to Minton's to hear what the guys were playing, because a friend of mine from Detroit, and Kelly Martin, the drummer, used to be with Earl Garner. He brought Dizzy down to hear me, and Dizzy heard me, and he said, yeah, the cat's know what he's doing, so let's take him on uptown. So he took me up to Minton's, and I heard what they were playing. And like I could hear what they were playing because, like I said before, I was studying with Mary Lou, learning arranging and so forth. Although I could write, I was learning the new different chord progressions and so forth. That was entailing me to write more and more. You know? And I could hear what they were playing, so it wasn't too hard for me to switch from playing a regular seventh sometimes to instead of ending on the seventh, I'd end on the ninth and a flatted five or the raised ninth and so forth.
Right, what kind of tunes were they using the new chords?
Things like Stardust, Stomping at Savoy, any of the tunes that was being played.
Right, and
lullaby and rhythm and all those things we used to play.
When do you feel that the Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie and Monk compositions started coming in, and bop artists started playing their own things?
Oh, they weren't accepted. They didn't accept those things until way later. I think the first record that they really that the jazz people even accepted was a Red Norval thing that he made with Bird and Diz and Slam Stewart and somebody else that they made.
Right.
I think those were the records that were really.
And the Tiny
accepted.
Grimes did with Tiny Stampo and things like that. Those were two early.
Those were
World War II dates.
Yeah,
right?
they were two. But I mean, even Tiny's thing wasn't accepted until after Red Norval's thing was out. And then they said, "Oh well, we got some a bunch of good new musicians," and they had said like to play Get Happy and so forth, and Bird and them made it sound altogether different. It didn't sound like that like the guys used to play it, but. Tiny's things came after. I think he was one of the first, like you say, one of the first to record. I thought Rubber Legs was before him, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. There's a famous date too, also early Bob Bates, and also again still having to use a few of the old standards to get off the new sounds.
Yeah, well, that's the only way we could do it is to use them playing with the things because they wouldn't play anything. That we composed, as far as like Max's Making Wax and tunes like that, they wouldn't even consider using that because they figured they had no melody. They couldn't hear the melody to it. They'd rather hear something with, like in fact, Decca used to have a big Indian standing up in his studio talking about where's the melody. All they wanted to hear was the melody. Like I came here with Andy Kirk to record McGee Special, and we played it 10 times before the guy even considered recording it. And I was through. I told him if he don't record it after this, I'm through because I can't play it no more. Because I had a lot of high notes to play in it, and it was trumpet all the way, And he stood up and listened to it 10 times before he even considered even making it, because he couldn't find the melody, And so after it was recorded, then Robert's music and this guy that was I can't think of his name right now, Birch. Something I can't remember the guy's name that was doing the A&R for Decca at the time.
Was it Bob Stevens?
Bob Shad? No, it wasn't Bob Shad. It was Bob something. It was way back there. I can't remember who he was. Anyway, he was one of the diehards that had the Indians put up there, who has the melody, So, why don't we
Down to the bottom, to Froggy Bottom, where the folks don't hurry and never worry. Going down to the bottom to live my easy way. The ladies crave, the country's rave, this jive, jive, jive. This modern treat makes life complete. Jive, jive, jive. All the jive is gone. All the jive is gone. I'm sorry, Kate, but you got here late. All the jive is gone. All the jive is gone. All the jive is gone. So come on in and drink some gin. All the jive is gone. Things won't be quite so bright tonight, 'cause all the jive is gone. All the jive is gone. All the jive is gone. What an awful fix, can't get my kick, 'cause all the jive is gone. Jive's gone, jive's gone, jive's gone, jive's gone. Ran to go to Mexico. All the jive is gone.